What's up, everybody? So, earlier today, and when I say earlier today, I mostly mean like, I don't know, it depends on how you look at things, because the Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey event just wrapped up, and I tried to stream it. I was able to stream the prelims because the prelims was open access, I guess. But of course, once it got to the main card or the main events and stuff, uh, that's when the whole copyright bullshit started swiping things down, and it got me a couple times, despite the fact that I was sitting there trying to post it, and I was able to stream it for a while, but I don't know, man. As soon as the main card stuff started, I started seeing things on my OBS indicating that a content ID, blah 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 blah. So I shut it off, and I tried to wait until the main event and then stream, thinking maybe the AI invisible hand assholes out there would just leave me alone, but of course they don't. And so I just wasn't able to do it, which kind of sucks. But trust me, anybody that was wanting to watch that shit really didn't miss out on much. There were some okay fights leading up to the Gina Carano event or the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey event that were pretty that were okay to watch, some knockouts and things like that. But I swear to God, the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey thing was the biggest letdown I've ever seen in any type of MMA event that I've ever watched. And I've been watching it now for a while, or that kind of stuff for a while. I usually watch UFC stuff. Tonight was a fight night over in UFC land, so I thought to myself, well, it's going to be the meta Apex shit, and I fucking hate the Apex. It's just the atmosphere sucks. It's smaller, it's just in my eyes not almost hardly ever worth watching, and so I felt like it wasn't really going to be any kind of love lost for tonight for UFC. So I went ahead and tried to prioritize this most valuable promotions event, thinking that it would really be awesome because I kind of hyped myself up over this event for a while, man. I was thinking to myself, wow, it's gonna be Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, fucking Cara Dune versus, you know, whatever she's known for, Rousey, I mean. And I was looking forward to it, man. And then of course, the event happens and it's literally like over in about 10 to 20 seconds. Because as you probably have seen now, Rousey got her in an arm bar and Carano wound up tapping out like instantly. So it was just it was a big fucking waste of time through and through. It was a waste of time fucking around with, AI or Orwell. And it was a waste of time because of the actual event. Because of course, despite the fact that I wasn't able to stream it, I was still sitting on in my house watching it, and God, I just kind of regret spending my entire day getting amped up over this shit. What a fucking waste of time. I tell you, man, I remember back in the what was it? Back in the early 2000s, man, it seemed like so much stuff was out there that was worth uh looking at and using. And back then, YouTube, you didn't have the invisible hand out there always trying to swipe things down on you, and doing the whole censorship shit, whether it's shadow censorship or you're explained why you had a thing removed or something like that. I mean, anymore, you never even know or understand why something was either taken down or censored to begin with, because you're not even given any kind of indication that something was removed or censored, because they play that fucking game where you'll post something or say something in a comment or something like that, and it'll look to you like everything's just fucking hunky dory and everything's been posted, only to realize that if you access your shit through some sort of anonymous browser tab, that it's just not even posted, and it's just fucking unbelievable that kind of crap is going on. It wouldn't really be that big of a deal if they sat there and explain to you what it was that was going on. Like, if they've got AI and automated shit that can sit there and sniff streams and determine whether or not you have a conflicting content ID that's subject to copyright law or some shit, then you can't tell me that they can't come up with something that tells you why a comment was fucking removed or wasn't posted or is only accessible by you, or any flavor of things that they do nowadays. And of course, it just keeps going on and on and on. Nobody ever gets ahead of it. Nobody ever stops it. Blah blah blah. So I don't know, man. Long story short, I'm thinking about trying to find ways to get off of YouTube, and I'm beginning to kind of look at alternatives, and there's a few here and there, but of course, as we all know, there's very few of them that actually have the infrastructure that YouTube has. Uh, Rumble, there's always that. There's the what is it? Let me see here. Yeah, Rumble, and there was another one too that was kind of an up and comer. I can't remember what it is, but they're and the bad thing about Rumble, because I got interested in trying to use Rumble at one point, and whenever I was sitting out there looking at stuff on Rumble, it's supposed to be some sort of open alternative type of platform that tries to prioritize freedom of speech and expression and all this shit, and it touts this big mantra about not being all about censorship and all that kind of crap. But the problem that I've seen out of Rumble is that it's like some sort of right leaner's wet dream. You've got all the conservative types of pundits out there, and I'm okay with some of that because I lean right for the most part. But even I understand when you're like too much right. It's like I view myself as somewhere in the middle with leanings towards the right. And Rumble, man, it's like, first of all, the content out there is just kind of boring in general. Got a message here. Hold on just a second here. Got to see who this is. Uh, so Rumble, I out of everything that I've seen on Rumble, it's like the exact opposite of sometimes what you see on YouTube. So with YouTube, it's mostly left leaning type stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a mixture in there too, but it definitely errs on leaning left, as we all know. I mean, the village idiot fucking understands that. But with Rumble, it's like the exact opposite of that, except it's the exact opposite of that on steroids. It's got your Steven Crowders out there, it's got all of your other right leaning types. I think Candace Owens has a bunch of shit out there. And again, I'm not averse to that or anything. I'm completely okay with that type of stuff. But the point is though is that with Rumble, it's like that's all there is that's out there. It's like all there is with that, and then like lame game streamer type stuff. And the good thing that used to exist about YouTube back in the early 2000s or so was that there was no political preferences with its platform, its website, whatever you want to call it. It was just a damn mixture of everything, literally everything. And it was all accessible, it was all free, and it was just fucking beautiful, man. And nowadays, it's like, the C suite fucks that are ruining everything in life. Well, they've obviously ruined YouTube, and whenever it comes to Rumble, I think it's probably the exact same thing. So it's almost as if I remember a Joe Rogan episode a long time ago. I think he had Kevin Smith on it, and it was an episode where they were both discussing the political extremes that they were seeing in the advent of Trumpism and all the shit that was kind of flaring up back then, when you had all the assholes calling anyone that happened to commit the crime of supporting Trump, some sort of derogatory name. And you had the back and forths going on. Deplorables. It was during the time when the term deplorables began to flare up. And Kevin Smith said on there, I remember the interaction. I remember it may not be verbatim, but it was something along the lines of Kevin Smith saying how he felt like he was a man without a nation, or a man without an island, or something like that, something to that effect. And anymore, man, I feel the exact same way, because I lean right more than I do left, but I try to always find my way back towards some form of middle, because in my mind it's the best of both worlds. It's the most well-rounded approach with most situations. And I'm a firm believer that life is usually about trying to find balance between extremes. It's kind of like a feng shui sort of mindset, I guess. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But yin and the yang, I don't know. But the point is that there's always these extremes, and when it comes to YouTube, not only is it more or less super left leaning, but it's insanely it's insanely Orwellian anymore on that website. It's just like, I don't know, man. I've run into a lot of these types of mindsets during my day to day at my job and stuff like that. And we've all seen them, man. They're the same types of archetypes. They come into these situations, they try to institute these standardized approaches, these universal standards and policies. They try to use technology not in a way to incentivize and enhance the human condition, but instead to find and explore new ways to increase their control over others. And I feel like that is 100% where YouTube is anymore. And I'm not stupid, man. I understand that to a degree. I do feel like there's sometimes a lot of that can be useful, like in the case of things like child porn or, uh, you know, I guess snuff type things, or things that are actual honest to god crime level stuff. But the kid that's out in the middle of nowhere trying to stream something that only basically millionaires and people that are like, uber rich are able to either attend or watch. Because I don't know if any of you have ever priced UFC event seating, but it is fucking insanely expensive. And I can only imagine how much this event was charging for seats. So if you only praise the event and its costs on that alone, I can't I can't imagine how many millions of dollars they raked in just from physical attendance and tickets and things like that. To say nothing about all the other shit. But anyway, all of this to say, between YouTube and its bullshit and the event and the bullshit that I just saw, man, this is, oh my god, I just can't believe it. What a lame thing. It really was just lame. It sucks. And I feel sorry for anybody that wound up paying for that. So, I don't know, man. But I'm gonna be seriously looking for alternatives to YouTube. It's just getting too fucking much, man. It's too Orwellian and too restrictive. And as far as these kinds of events are concerned, man, I guess this was a learning lesson for me today because I remember watching the Tyson fight with well, I think it was this guy here, the dude that's apparently the one of the Paul brothers. I can't fucking remember which one it is. I can't stand either of them. Maybe they're good people, man. I don't know. But just from the public images that I see of them and how they present themselves, I think they're all douchebags. But whichever fucking Paul kid it was that Tyson fought, I remember getting super amped up over that, thinking to myself, man, this is gonna be fucking great. We all get to see Iron Mike one more time. And I remember the night, man. It was a similar situation as tonight with this Rousey and Carano thing. I remember sitting there watching the whole entire stadium or arena where this was going on. It was right as Tyson was beginning to come to walk out. The lights, it all got dimmed and all the music and noises and cheering and everything, and you're just sitting there fucking, watching Mike Tyson come out again. And so then of course the camera, it goes into that little tunnel, and here's fucking Iron Mike. And I remember the instant that I knew it wasn't going to be anything like I had hoped. And it was the instant that Mike began to kind of walk out. He instantly tripped over something. He didn't fall down and bust his ass or anything, but you could see that he tripped. It's like his foot caught on something and he kind of stumbled. And the moment I saw that happen, I knew it was like a penny drop moment. I felt like, okay, tell me that didn't just happen. And it wasn't it wasn't that Mike kind of got caught on something that was bad. I mean, we all get caught on things as we're walking around. To me, it was symbolic. It was like a foreshadowing symbol that that things are different now. That disappointment is the benchmark now. And needless to say, as soon as he made it out to the ring and they started fighting and stuff, we all saw what happened. And I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I still love Mike Tyson to death. He'll always be a god in my eyes. But that was a learning moment when I realized, man, that all of this shit, man, it just doesn't matter anymore. It's all a fucking joke. It's not like it used to be. It's not like back in the day when you saw Michael Jordan jumping from fucking free throw lines, or Mike Tyson knocking everyone out, within 10 seconds of a match or something, or a bout. There's no more Bo Jacksons. There's no more Michael Jacksons or Whitney Houstons. It's like we're a country nowadays full of mediocrity, and that's on a good day. And I don't know where it's all coming from, man. Like, sometimes wonder if we're all just spoiled and lazy, and maybe that's why you don't really see excellence like we used to. Maybe I'm just getting fucking old. I don't know what it is. But everything just kind of fucking sucks now. that's really that's really all it boils down to, man. It just seems like everything fucking blows. So I don't know, man. Thanks for attending my TED talk, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just this shit has just sucked, man. So anyway, I hope you guys are having an all right night. I hope it's better than mine. So anyway, uh, I'll probably upload a video game or a computer game video at some point. I've got the thing going on right now in Skyrim. At least as far as right now, as long as I'm using YouTube, that is. Just so fucking over YouTube. I'm over the entire, enterprise type of shit that's existing nowadays in every permutation of existence. Big tech, man. I'm just so fucking over big tech. And I know I'm not alone in that, man. So anyway, it's either gonna be Skyrim or RimWorld. So keep an eye out for it. And like I said, man, thanks for listening. Later.